मी बंद ठेवलं होतं रेकॉर्डिंग. Anyway, ठीक आहे. चलो, we can discuss that some other time. So, what we did yesterday, I suppose everybody has kind of regurgitated, tried to think about it, and tried to, assimilate that thing. So, good evening, everybody. Chaitrali, please come on the screen. Sarah, how are you? How is Qatar today? And are you there? आहे की नाही? Sarah, are you there? No? All right, okay, let's go ahead. She'll come on the screen later. So let me go ahead with my presentation. I'm going to open the presentation now again. What we are going to deal with today is the camera. By camera, I don't mean the actual camera itself, because the camera itself is a different subject altogether. We are not talking of technology. We are going to talk of technique. All right, we are going to talk of technique. So we are talking of camera techniques, shooting techniques, which is where we come in. I'm not going to go into details of the camera itself. Anyway, we don't have a camera. We have a mobile camera, which is pretty easy to understand. If you don't understand something, please ask me, right? But we are going to go into camera techniques. And by techniques, I mean the first thing that comes into my mind and in any kind of these courses is the kind of shots that you use in filmmaking, right? There are several kinds of shots that you use in filmmaking, and every kind of shot has got has to have a meaning. You don't use shots randomly. When you are one second, Sarah had gone off. She's coming back. Hello, Sarah. You got disconnected or something? I was trying
Uh,
to talk to you.
yes, I got disconnected. My
Yeah,
laptop
fine, fine.
glitches. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
No issues. Good evening. So I'm
Good
talking of
evening.
camera, and what I was saying is that we are talking of camera as a technique and not as a technology. I'm not going to teach you camera itself. I'm going to teach you how to use the camera and your mobile camera. And when we start with this, the first thing that we need to understand is the kind of shots that you take when you're making any film, right? There are several different kinds of shots that you use in a film. And I'm going to quickly show you a chart first, and I'm going to do a little bit of demonstration for you. Can you see this, everybody?
Yes, we
Yeah,
can see.
these are the shots that you use for filmmaking. So when you can see the full body of a person, it's either a full shot or it is called a long shot, right? Then you've got a medium full shot, you've got a cowboy shot. That's a new addition nowadays. You've got a medium shot, you've got medium close up, and extreme close up. I'm going to do a little bit of demo quickly. I'm going to go back on my screen. I'm going to show you this shot. Now I may not be audible. I'm going to try and be as loud as possible, but I'm going to take this off and keep it here and hope that you will be able to hear my sound. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of demo. Look at this. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, one second. So this, when you see my full body from my foot to my head, this is called as a long shot. All right, this is called as a long shot. When you're dealing with a long shot, okay, you can't see me.
We can hear you.
Screen is okay. When you're taking a long shot, you generally don't see the expressions of a person, yet you can kind of understand who that person is, right? You can actually see who the person is, maybe recognize that person. Sometimes you may not recognize that person, right? So in a long shot, I can have one person or maybe three, four, five, six. You can show a crowd, but this is called a long shot, right? So when you're showing a long shot, it's generally to show the area. Now, if there was nothing here, nothing behind me, you would have been able to see what is behind me also. That will also show you. So long shot is used to establish a person or persons, right? Sitting or standing in a crowd or standing alone, as well as maybe sometimes used to show what is the area in which the film is being made, right? the area or the geography of the film, a little bit of geography, not very much, but you can at least see. So suppose there's a house behind me, suppose there's a road behind me, suppose there's a signal behind me. So if you want to establish that you are going to show a signal and wherever, suppose the story is taking place at a signal, or suppose the story is taking place outside my house. So you can see the house or the building or the gate or whatever. So you can establish that, and you can establish a person or persons. You can barely recognize them. If it's dark, then you won't be able to recognize them also. But that is what the long shot does. Is that fine? You understand what is long shot? I come a little nearer. This is mid long shot. Right up to my knees, right? That's called a mid-long shot. So it is not completely long shot. It is neither long shot nor a mid shot or a close. Mid shot starts out here, right? From my waist up is the mid shot. So this is not mid shot. This is not long shot too, right? हा आहे mid long shot. हा झाला long shot. पूर्ण मी दिसत्यावरती आणि मी जवळ आलो माझ्या knees पर्यंत साधारण असतात. तर तो mid long shot होता. It's called as mid long, somewhere between mid shot and a long shot. Or there's a new shot that people are using nowadays. I personally think that's not necessary, but this up to my thighs is supposedly called as a cowboy shot. A cowboy shot probably because they use the gun to draw the guns or something like that. It's called a cowboy shot. You can see up to my thighs, right? And then when I come nearer, and you can see me exactly from my waist up from here, this is called a mid shot, right? Now the mid long and the long and the cowboy shot. In these shots, you may probably be able to recognize a person. You can show one or maybe three people in the frame, not more than that, because I've come near the camera. And when I come still nearer, you can still have two people here. I can have one more person here, right? In the mid shot. Generally, in a mid shot, you have either one or two people. Somebody can stand beside me, and maybe a third person peeping in between our shoulders, right? That's it. Beyond that, you don't show more people. You have got this. So this is the mid shot, right? Now, when you come nearer to the camera, or rather, when the camera goes nearer to you, this becomes a mid close. This becomes a mid close. This is not close. This is not mid also. Mid shot म्हणजे कमरेपर्यंत. Mid shot म्हणजे कमरेपर्यंत जरा वरती a little below the chest level, that is called mid shot. Okay, you can call it as mid or mid close shot, right? It is not a close shot. It is somewhere between, right? And when I go a little bit here, that is actually really called a mid shot. This is the real mid shot when you can get from the chest, arm, and my head. This is called the mid shot. Real mid shot is this, right? Or maybe you can call it close mid. We can call it as close mid. So my chest level to my head. I mean, now here you can have a little bit of expressions. You can recognize the person. ओळखू शकतो माणूस. त्याच्यामध्ये पण दोन लोक येऊ शकतात. I can have another person here just beside me. तर का तुमची स्क्रीन वाईड असेल तर तुम्हाला दोन किंवा तीन लोक ही ठेवता येतात, राईट? दोन लोक आरामात राहतात एका मिड शॉट मध्ये. मिड शॉट इज युज्ड a lot of times for conversations between two people. So two people facing each other is very convenient to have two people facing each other and have a good conversation shown between them. त्याच्यासाठी मिड शॉट वापरला जातो आणि मिड शॉट मध्ये एक्सप्रेशन दिसतात, अगदी क्लिअर दिसतात, अगदी क्लोजअप नसतात पण एक्सप्रेशन दिसतात. राग आलेला आहे, वाईट वाटतंय, यू आर क्राईंग, यू आर वीपिंग, यू आर लाफिंग, your sarcastic mood or anything of that sort can be easily seen in a mid shot. A lot of times mid shot is used to establish the persons and a conversation between people. दोन लोक, right? त्याच्यामध्ये mid shot can be also used in alternate. म्हणजे दोन लोकांचं कॉन्व्हर्सेशन चालू आहे, एक मी आहे, एक तुम्ही आहात. You are there and I am there. So the camera can also take something called OS. OS म्हणजे माझ्या इथे मागे कॅमेरा लागतो, right? इथे मागे. So you can see part of my shoulder. Right, you can see a part of my ear and my shoulder, this area, and from here the camera will show the other person. Usually in interviews घेताना असा शॉट वापरला जातो. खूप वेळा तुम्ही बघितलंच इंटरव्ह्यूज घेताना they don't directly show the person, they might show a person like this. असा दाखवला जातो. म्हणजे मी दिसत नाही, माझी पाठमोरी मी, you will not recognize me directly. You know it is me because when you are taking an interview, you establish the two people sitting across each other. आधी आपण एस्टॅब्लिश करतो की ह्याचा हा इंटरव्ह्यू घेतो, ह्याचा हा याच्याशी बोलतोय, एस्टॅब्लिश करतो. आणि मग नंतर आपण कॅमेरा ह्याच्या मागे नेऊन त्याला दाखवतो, त्याच्या मागे नेऊन मला दाखवतो. Right? So you show alternate in an interview, but that's also a mid shot. Though it is an OS, over the shoulder shot, it is also mid shot, and that's a mid shot, right? So expressions can be very clear. The next shot is close up. So close up will be in this, right? A part of a shoulder or only the face. That is close up, right? This is called the close up. Close up is used only when you are going to show real expressions, and if you have got a good actor. Right. If you see today in a lot of Hindi films, especially, you'll see a lot of times you will not see too many close-ups, mainly because you don't have very good actors. Not many, not many. हिम्मतच नाही होणार डायरेक्टरची फार जास्ती क्लोजअप घ्यायची. Yes, there are some good actors. I'm not saying all are bad, but if you see the number of close-ups that you see in today's films is comparatively much lesser than what we used to see in the past. Right, so you need a good actor to show good expressions in a close-up. Otherwise, it goes for a toss, becomes a fiasco. So close-up is meant for that. Close-up is meant for showing more subtle expressions. You require a rekha or require I mean, I know Sarah, you know who is rekha, I suppose. So
You should take some names of young
somebody.
young
I
actresses.
don't know too many people.
She will tell.
She will tell. So you can tell me some actors whom you like, Hindi films. You watch Hindi films? Yeah.
You are on mute.
Yeah, I do watch some.
Okay. So which actor do you like?
I don't like any specific actor or actress.
Oh, okay.
I just watch films and like always think about the making of the film rather than actually watching for the actors. I always watch films for the making of the film, so I can see how the shots are taken and how it was made. Always thinking about that.
So you should notice acting also, Sarah, because you have to direct somebody's play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you should try to notice how the director has directed that actor and how that actor is given an expression. Right. So you should start to think that too. So then next time when we
I
meet
do, but not as much as because what I'm pursuing right now is visual effects. I'm going to do that, so I'm more interested in that part of the side rather than the
okay.
the director side. Yeah.
That's a different world altogether.
Yeah.
Visual effects, right? So a close-up is meant for that. Extreme close-up will be only the eyes. I'm not going to show you my eyes. I'm sorry. I don't want to show something which is not looking so good. But when your camera focuses only on eyes, or suppose I'm making a film, and in that film, a watch is one of the main characters. So this becomes an extreme close-up for that, right? That becomes an extreme close-up. So when you show something from very, very near, that is called extreme close-up, and that is meant to show something very, very significant. उगाचच वापरला जात नाही, right? Unless you've got something very significant to show, which becomes a part of the story. That thing may not be a person or a living object. It can be a non-living object, and yet it can be a part of the story. Then that thing also becomes a character. कॅरेक्टर फक्त माणसांची नसतात, कॅरेक्टर वस्तूंची सुद्धा असतात. कधी कधी एखादी वस्तू तुमच्या फिल्मचा महत्वाचा भाग बनते, राईट? अशा वेळेला that thing becomes a character and you have to treat it as a character and then you have to shoot it accordingly. All right. So these are the shots. Now I'm going to show you something. Acha, by the way, when I post these things, I have to cut out the songs. I hope you remember them. Yesterday's video, I have written which videos we saw, because then it becomes a copyright issue. Yahoo doesn't allow me to upload those videos which have got some Hindi film songs. So, but I need to show them for the sake of this exercise. But then I have to remove them, otherwise it just doesn't get uploaded. I mean, they filter it prior to approving it nowadays. Initially, पहले क्या होता था, they used to approve it and then there used to be a copyright claim. Nowadays, they don't even approve that. It doesn't come on. So I've started deleting it before I upload things. All right. I'm going to show you a couple of things. First, I'm going to show you a scene, the opening sequence of a film called Mackina's Gold. How many of you have seen Mackina's Gold? Manju has seen.
I have seen
Rani bhagitla.
Gregory Peck and Omar Sharif.
Yes, Gregory
Yes.
Peck and Omar Sharif.
Oh,
जोशी तुम्ही
Datki
बघितलाय
Bazul.
का? बेडेकर जोशी बघितलाय का Mackina's Gold? If you're not seeing it, please get the class. Alright. So I'm going to show that. Also, mic open. So both films are significant. Mackina's Gold, of course, is a very, very old film. I think it is 50 years old or maybe more. I don't remember the day on which it was done. And this, of course, was Lakshya. Now, what did you notice in this? Both these videos. What did you notice? What kind of shots were they?
Long shots of hilly area.
Yeah. So they are not called long shots, they are extreme long shots.
Extreme long.
Right? When we write it in the script, we call it XLS. We call it XLS, LS, MS, right? CS, XCS, right? So extreme close up to extreme long shot. In the Mackina's Gold thing, you could see the buzzard's eye. That was an extreme long shot, extremely
Close
close
up.
up. And then it flies high, flying high. And then they have shown the whole topography is the Grand Canyon. Well, and that is called extreme long shot. So what happened? In Lakshya, of course, you see Leh Ladakh area completely. He is traveling from Leh to Kargil, right? That is the first shot in the film. He gets down at Leh and then he travels by G to Kargil. That is the road travel. I had gone there last year, so I know that road very, very well. त्याच रस्त्यावर आम्ही गेलो होतो गेल्या वर्षी, right? So the point is key there in all those shots that you saw in Lakshya, they established the geography of the area very well because the entire story happens in those mountains. So it is a very, very, very clever ruse of the director to use these shots as opening sequences, which establishes the geography and the place where the entire story is about to happen, right? So Lakshya happens in Ladakh, in Kargil, right? The whole thing happens in Kargil. So after this jeep, it goes to Kargil, and they see the Mount T2 there, to where the actual thing happens, right? Where the actual war happens. So it is this way. So when extreme long shot is used, generally it is used for establishing where the story happens, right? Where the story happens. Now, not necessarily every time you have to use an extreme long shot. So suppose the entire story of a film is happening in this room. So you'll not have an extreme long shot here. You may or may not show my entire house from somewhere outside, top of another building, and show it as an extreme long shot. But not necessary. You may just start with a long shot. But that establishes, if we are not doing anything outside this house, there's no point in showing the outside of the house. If the entire story, right from the start to beginning, is happening inside this only room, then you don't have to show anything else, right? But generally speaking, these kind of stories don't happen. But in cinema, at least, you have a lot of other things coming in and going out. So generally speaking, आपला establish करायला जो shot असतो, geography establish करायला जो shot असतो, किंवा opening sequencesला बरेच वेळा extreme long shot वापरले जातात, right? That helps you. बेडेकर मॅडम तुम्ही long shot दाखवताय. I thought so.
आणि मला चुकून माझ्याकडनं हे झालंय.
Okay. It doesn't matter.
नाही, मी तुम्हाला विचारत होते की लक्ष्यचं शूटिंग झालं ना, तर ते एका स्टुडिओ मध्ये पण झालं. तो असा अप चढतो ना, तर ते जस्ट एक आपलं घर आहे तेवढीच उंची होती.
ओके.
तो तेव्हाचा जो तो असा खूप डोंगरावर चढल्याचा जो लॉंग शॉट आहे, तो ऍक्च्युली मी बघितलाय. तो जमिनीपासून 10 फूट पण नव्हता.
पॉसिबल आहे. मागे ग्रीन स्क्रीन असेल. मागे ग्रीन स्क्रीन असणार.
ते कसं पॉसिबल झालं?
क्रोमा. आय एम गोइंग टू शो यू दॅट. मी दाखवणार आहे तुम्हाला ते.
कारण ती प्रीती जिंटा मला वाटतं आहे का त्याच्यामध्ये, कोणी हिरोईन आहे मला माहिती नाही.
प्रीती जिंटा.
हा, तर ती त्या ह्याच्यावर बोलत होती तेव्हा काही पाठीमागे नव्हतं. मग त्यांनी ते डोंगर आणि ते विमान वगैरे नंतर ऍड केले.
Actually खूप सोपं आहे. Extremely easy to do that. I'm going to show you how to do that, and I'm going to show you how to do it on your mobile phone.
अच्छा.
मोबाईल फोनवर सुद्धा करता येतं ते आणि अतिशय सोपं आहे. हा, त्याला काय लागतं? त्याला लागतं सर्वात चांगलं म्हणजे लाईट चांगले लागतं.
ओके.
लाइटिंग चांगलं असेल तर यू कॅन डू क्रोमा एनीवे. इट्स एक्स्ट्रीमली इझी टू डू इट. इट्स म्हणजे when I used to make films in the past, it used to be a very big thing. Chroma kiya. But now it's become so easy. You hardly notice that everywhere chroma is used nowadays. Almost every film they use chroma. Almost every ad they use chroma. They don't have to go to a location at all. They can do everything with the chroma screen at the background. And I can tell you that it's so simple and it's so prevalent. So I have been interviewed on television at least 3-4 times. Okay, especially for some things like electronic media curriculum kasa asawa, education based, basically education kind of stuff. So every time I visited the studios, I can see that I am sitting on a table, which is the only thing that, and sometimes even that table top is green color. My background is everything is green. Everything is green. But what you see on the screen is amazing. You can see all sorts of graphics and designs, and you can see my table looking like very posh, but it's actually a dirty green table. कारण ते सगळं खोटं असतं. सगळ्या मागचे ग्राफिक्स काही नसतं. मागे आपल्या फक्त ग्रीन स्क्रीन असतो. There's nothing else but a green screen. I think I brought a photograph of that time. I had asked for a photograph to show it to my students. I'll hunt it down and I'll show it to you. त्या स्टुडिओमध्ये त्यावेळेला जो इंटरव्ह्यू झाला होता तेव्हाचा मी फोटोग्राफ काढून घेतला होता. Only to show it to my students. So I'll show that to you. It's all green. We use green color.
ग्रीन होतं, बरोबर.
So I'm going to show you. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
The Lakshya shooting. Lakshya was shot in Leh, Ladakh, and the entire shoot, the beginning sequence is extreme long shots. So now I've got an assignment for you. Not to do now, of course. Please come on the screen, everybody. I want to tell you what it is. I want to explain to you what I want you to do. You have to show it to me tomorrow. Right?
Homework 1.
Homework 1. Yeah. So I want you to shoot each of these scenes. You may be in the screen, or you may use somebody else to be on the screen. Right? I want you to shoot an extreme long shot. You can shoot it from a balcony. I mean, I don't want you to go out and shoot it. Don't do anything extraordinary. But maybe you can take a extreme long shot from the balcony to establish the area where you are. Kasai, but extreme long shot and it has to be videos, huh? And don't take long videos. Just take 5-second video. That's enough to understand that you understood the thing, right? So I want you to shoot an extreme long shot. म्हणजे बाल्कनीत नुसता तुम्ही असा दाखवला मला खालचं किंवा बाहेरचं किंवा you can just get out of the building, show the road. That also is enough for an extreme long shot. One extreme long shot, one long shot. When you either got 1 person, 2 persons, 4 persons, whatever, you have got them in the long shot mode. So on the screen, which fills up the screen, so when the screen is full, I need your people, the person who is there at this match, right? The person. So when you have got a person here, you can have 2-3 persons also beside them, or you can have a single person. But I wanted to shoot a video, right? I want to shoot a video. It can be 5 or 10 seconds, not more than that. We just shoot and then stop it after 10 seconds, not long videos, because you unnecessarily use up the memory. Then I want you to shoot the mid-long shot, right? So from the knee up, I want you to shoot 1 or 2 people. They may be talking, they may be just standing there, doesn't matter. Then I want you to shoot a cowboy shot, which is from the knee up. You can ask the person to come near, take a shot, and keep on coming near. Then I want you to take a shot which is mid shot, waist up, then chest up, then from here, close up, from just above the shoulders, and an extreme close up of a person's eyes, or maybe a thing, right, which is there on the table. There was an extremely beautiful shot in one of the Marathi films that I saw. बहुतेक गोंधळात गोंधळ किंवा असा कुठला तरी पिक्चर होता. अशोक सराफ आणि
लक्ष्मीकांत
नाही अशोक सराफ आणि ती फेमस हिरोईन कोण होती तिच्याबरोबर नेहमी काम असायचं रंजना नाही काय नाव तिचं
वर्षा उसगावकर
नाही वर्षा जुनी रंजना वर्षा उसगावकर आणि रंजना या दोघांची फिल्म होती. त्याच्यामध्ये इंटरव्हलच्या जस्ट आधी त्या दोघांचं भांडण होतं आणि त्यांचे फक्त ओठ दाखवलेत एक्स्ट्रीम क्लोजअप मध्ये. आणि आपल्या शिव्या कळतात चक्क काय शिव्या. But they have just shown the lips. Extreme close-up मध्ये याचे होत मग तिचे होतो, याचे होत मग तिचे होतो, याचे होत तिचं भांडण दाखवलंय त्यांनी. I remember that shot very very well. It was that Ranjana आणि अशोक सरफचा shot होता. So I want you to shoot an extreme close-up also. So ranging from extreme long shot to extreme close-up, I want you to shoot a 10-second video of each of these shots. All right, I'll send you this graphic for reference. Right, it doesn't have extreme long shot as a reference, which I've already told you how it is, but I want you to shoot all these shots. All right, clear, everybody?
या नॉट नेसेसरी आपण त्याच्यात असलंच पाहिजे.
नाही, कोणी दुसरं पण असेल तरी चालेल, पण एक्स्ट्रीम लॉंग शॉट
somebody else can shoot.
Yeah, that is also fine.
Okay.
म्हणजे आणखीन एखादं शिकून होईल असं पण नाही. There is also shots. तुम्हाला एक्सप्लेन करायला लागेल, तुम्ही चांगलं शिकायला शिकवताना जास्त चांगलं शिकता येतं. You learn better when you are teaching, frankly speaking. So I am always a student. I learn everything, something new every day. वर्षातले 365 दिवस मी काहीतरी नवीन शिकवतो. So I never claim I mastered something. If I say the day I say I mastered something, I should retire. I should not teach anymore, because then I never become a teacher. But all these shots, I want extreme long shot to extreme close up. I need you to shoot 10-second shots, and you have to send them to me by WhatsApp.
Okay.
All right, you have to send it to me on the group, not individually. You have to send it on the group which you have created. त्याच्यामध्येच तुम्ही पाठवायचे ते. So everybody will see your shots.
Okay.
And everybody is free to comment on those shots. Okay, we have to help each other. We have to help each other. The peer review is better than a professor review always. Okay, so everybody sends their shots on. Sarah, maybe I can see a little bit of Qatar in your shots. All right, little bit of Qatar in your shots. If you go out tomorrow to college or something, are you going out at all?
Yeah, I'm going out every day.
All right, then shoot some nice shots of your city and send
Yeah, sure. Yes, sir.
some extras. Okay, fine. So that's the benefit of having an international student. Okay, so I can truly claim that this is an international workshop. All right, because I got a person from Qatar, and even the first workshop that I did, I had a person from Norway, and last workshop I had a person from Dubai.
Okay.
So I keep getting one student, one international student every time. Okay, so that is how you should do it. That's the first assignment today. Let's go ahead today. Let's not waste time. I'm going to show you an ad film that we had made made for our institute. I'm going to show you that film. You are going to identify the shots, and then you're going to tell me why I've used those shots and not something else. We're going to try and understand the shots. Okay? Means that the ad film madhe parapeki, but I'll show you that ad film now. Cheating in that ad, of course. I think you must have realized that. But this is something that we used to do when we were in college, by the way. आम्ही कॉलेजमध्ये असताना असा गेम खेळायचो. कॅन्टीनमध्ये बसून एकतर बाकडी बडवायची आणि गाणी म्हणायची. So either you sing and have a lot of fun with the banging the benches, or we used to take a matchbox and play this game of putting the matchbox in the glass. मग एक मी करायचो, मग समोरचा करायचा, असा एक गेम होता आमच्या कॅन्टीन मध्ये. टिपिकल कॅन्टीन गेम्स, राईट? One of the canteen. So we converted that into an ad. Now I'm going to play that ad again, and you're going to keep on telling me which shots we have used. Okay? You're going to tell me which shots we have used. So I'm going to play it again. We are going to go through it again. I'm not going to use any sound now. We are just going to see the visuals. Of course, that's cheating. What do you mean? Total cheating. Okay. All the shots were cheating except one or two when they were actually able to do it. But we just showed the flick and then we dropped a thing inside the glass. This was pure cheating. I mean, this I did not even try. I just flicked it like this. The matches and then the next shot we cut to an extreme close-up where the matchbox falls. So that's cheating. We cheat a lot in filmmaking, by the way. All right, we cheat a lot in filmmaking. In filmmaking, you have to cheat a lot of shots are by cheating, but you don't notice them, right? So, so these are how. So, for example, when I wanted to show his despair, I show an extreme close-up. When I want to show that, when she's explaining that, how to use enough velocity, force, whatever, then I have to show her mid shot or long mid. So we're able to show the board and this guy sitting behind. with his OS, because I wanted to show him also in the screen, not just somebody she's talking to entire class. I wanted to show that he's the only person she's explaining things to, right? Then my particular view was mid shot, because we had to establish my office, my table, right? माझा जो एरिया आहे मी बसतो तिथे तो सगळा तो एरिया एस्टॅब्लिश करायचा, बिकॉज आय एम सपोजिटली द डायरेक्टर, so you need that kind of scene. Then the camera moves, right? The camera moves to show me again on this side, which is also again because actually we could not get it right. But माझ्या मागे in that window you can see the entire Mahim ka khadi. Okay, from behind me you can see the entire Mahim khadi. You can actually see the Mahim fort in that. But the light was not good enough for us to take that shot exactly like that. So we just pulled our blinds down and showed it the way we could. Against the light, it was also going against the light. So I was not then seen, and we were not using any lights for this shoot. So this was shot by my kids. I had given them, but the point is, the entire thing was drawn. Every single shot was planned. Nothing was unplanned here. So before we started shooting, I had written the story. I had told them exactly what story I wanted. I had written the story in one line. Then I had written it in an entire paragraph. Then I had written the entire sequence of shots that we were going to use. And then we had actually drawn a storyboard and had given it to the students. Ki ye shot bana ke le kya. And then they had shot the entire thing. I was not doing the shoot. They were doing all the shoot. They did it entirely on their own. They're all filmmaking students, by the way. They're all my filmmaking students, right? They're entertainment students. So they did the shoot, and then I edited it at home. Because at that time they were having exams very soon, so I could not make them edit it, so I had to edit it on my own. So I edit kara maja computer, on this computer I have edited. So that is the fun. So you have to have different shots, and you have to have a different way of taking shots. Now beyond the shots, we have got something called camera angles. All right, we got something called camera angles. Now, what you mean by camera angle is this. I'll just show you something. I've borrowed something from the net. I'm going to show it to you directly. I'm using that for camera angles.
Under shot size, but you can combine them with a close-up or a medium shot and so on. The next important category is the camera angle. The most basic and simple camera angle is eye level, where the camera points straight ahead, and you typically use this to remain objective. You're not trying to manipulate the situation. When you want to manipulate the situation using camera angles, you can either go to a low angle, where the camera points up from a lower angle, and you use that to make the subject appear bigger or more dominating. On the other hand, you use a higher angle, where the camera points down from a high angle, and it makes the subject look diminutive and weak. Now, this is not etched in stone. You can break the rules here. An extreme case of the high angle will be a top angle or bird's eye view. So this is a special case where you want to show the topography of a location. Aerial shots are an extreme example of this as well. Next up, you have the Dutch angle or tilted shot, where your camera is not really level. An important use of this kind of shot is to draw attention to the fact that it's not a balanced frame, so something is literally off kilter. The last of the camera angles is the over-the-shoulder shot. Now, this is not strictly an angle, but it's a specialized shot that deserves its own place. Typically, an over-the-shoulder shot is confrontational by nature, so you have one person facing off with the other person. The last category is motion. The simplest type of motion is if you pan or tilt. That's when the camera stays in one.
Right. So these are the three kinds of camera movements or camera angles. Now, there's one thing called camera shots, and the other thing is the camera angle. Shot, when you are taking shots, आपल्याला त्याचा angle पण बघायचा असतो. So, for example, I'm going to show you something. Just give me a moment. I'm going to enter my own meeting here. Sorry, I went in and I got out. Right. So you can see me now. Oh, it's going to give an echo. Right. Now, when you see this, I'm going to change the camera. Okay, so this is what you call as eye level camera, eye level shoot. Okay, this is the eye level camera. Now, what happens is when you give you give a low angle. Look at how I'm looking now. Right? You can look at how I'm looking. I'll appear larger than life. Here it is. Right? You can see this. So I appear larger than life because you're taking the camera low. So this is called the low angle shot. Right? When you want to show a person larger than life, you normally take a low angle shot and you take that. How many of you have seen Dabang? Have you seen Dabang? Salman Khan Dabang? In Dabang,
Yes.
this guy, they rob a bank, right? They rob a bank and then they go to the warehouse, and Salman Khan comes into the screen and the frame, and he bangs on the door. आणि जेव्हा तो आत येतो Salman, the camera is tilted upwards. So already naam Dabang hai. How do you establish a Dabang? I mean, okay, Salman Khan has got a great body and all that, but you establish Dabang by taking a low angle, and he appears more sturdy and large on the screen. Imagine, right? So when you want to establish a person in that, now if you want to show the person in poor light, you can show it like this. Look at me now. I'll appear an insignificant person, and the higher I go, the smaller I become. Right? The smaller I become. That makes the person look smaller and smaller. So you take the camera high up and you immediately have a situation where you get a person looking very small. That's called a high angle shot. And that is effectively used by a lot of people in a lot of places. They use it very, very effectively. Right? So that's how it is used. A low angle, high angle, and straight angle. ये तीन angles महत्वाचे असतात. Because that immediately translates. So understand, this is the technique that we use in filmmaking. म्हणजे एखाद्याला सिनेमा बनवताना आपण एक टेक्निक करतो, पण आपल्याला लक्षात काय ठेवायचं असतं की हे सगळं ऑडियन्सला एक फिलिंग देऊन जातं. It's all about the audiences. It is not about me. It is not about you. It is not at all ever about the filmmaker. It is about the audiences, right? So what will the audience feel if I give you a low angle shot? What will the audience feel? And they don't understand these techniques, right? Till I told you all this, you also probably did not know. You know that there is an angle people use, but you don't know it's a low angle shot. You don't know it's a high angle shot. But what you get is a feeling, right? You get a feeling. म्हणजे आपण सिनेमा बघताना आपल्याला काहीतरी वेगळं वाटतं की अरे हा कसला अँगल घेतलाय, आपल्याला वाटतं काहीतरी वेगळं आहे. बट यू डोंट नो दॅट द डिरेक्टर is actually playing with your mind, right? The director is playing with your mind all the time. My job is to play with your mind, right? All the time my job is to play with your mind. I can't operate otherwise. So unless I play with your mind and unless I'm able to get this feeling out of you, then I'm going to fail in my filmmaking. So that's what happens in films, right? You always play with the mind of the people to be able to generate a feeling into their mind. Now let me go next.
सर एक मिनिट तुम्ही थर्ड अँगल कुठला सांगितला लो हाय आणि
eye level.
ओके
Low, high and eye level. Okay,
अच्छा
that's it. मी दाखवलं
पण सांगितलेलं
pardon.
स्ट्रेट
Eye level, correct. I'll show you. It's also called straight angle. You're right. This is straight angle shot. So that's a straight angle shot, right? So these are the angles that are used. So shots, angles, and the next thing that comes is movements, camera movements. All right. Now these are very, very important because they really invoke a lot of feelings into the minds of people. मी आता तुम्हाला पटकन दाखवणार आहे इथे छोटंसं दाखवणार आहे and I'm going to show that on the screen when I'm showing that. So for example, this when I'm shooting this, right? When I'm shooting this, मी आता तुम्हाला माझा all right, this is my screen. All right, this is my screen. So have a look at this. I'm going to do something which is called panning. I do this, and I do this. Camera will.
तर फक्त स्पायडरमॅनची स्क्रीन दिसतेय काय दुसरं?
हो का?
नाही
हो.
नाही दिसतंय ना रे.
व्यवस्थित दिसतंय, काय प्रॉब्लेम नाही.
दिसतंय ना माझा स्क्रीन दिसतोय ना तुम्हाला
हो
आता?
तो दिसतोय. कम्प्युटर दिसतोय.
त्याला का स्पायडरमॅन स्क्रीन बंद पण केले मी आता नाही पण स्क्रीन वस्तू
मला
स्पायडरमॅन
स्पायडरमॅन
ते बंद पण केलंय ते. It's not even
नेटवर्क
on
इश्यू असेल.
Spider-Man. एक मिनिट let me check.
मोबाईलचं
नाही रे माझा
मी
camera.
लॅपटॉपवर आहे.
I'm not showing that at all. I'm showing my camera. सगळ्यांना कॅमेरा दिसतोय.
आता आम्हाला तू पण दिसतोयस त्याच्या.
त्याच्यामध्ये मी दिसतोय का? मी त्याच्यामध्ये आहे. मी त्या स्क्रीनवरती आहे ना स्वतः. हा माझा तुम्हाला कॉम्प्युटर दिसतोय.
हो.
I'm there on the computer ना. मी तुमच्या मीटिंग मध्ये आहे आता. So for example, okay, I'm going to show something else. Can you see this? This is called panning.
Okay.
This is called panning. असं जेव्हा पॅन करतो आपण, this is called panning. Okay, in which you move the camera in a horizontal motion. You just move it like this. This is called panning. Right. So now you are seeing me doing both. because मला इथे मी पण दिसतोय तुम्हाला आणि माझा कॅमेरा कसा मोठा तो पण दिसतोय. जोशी तुमचं जरा माईक बंद करा.
ओके.
Okay, so you can see the camera panning now, right? This is called panning shot. Now the second one I'm going to show you is tracking. Okay, so I'm sitting a little behind me, and when I bring the camera near to my screen, this is called tracking. Track ahead and track back. Okay, this is called tracking. It's also called tracking sometimes, or it's called, sorry, it's not called tracking. It's called dolly shot. Right, it's called dolly shot, okay, or a tracking shot, or a trolley shot. So this is called tracking. So the camera moves towards an object. This is called tracking, right? The second thing similar to tracking is called zoom shot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to zoom in. This is called zooming. दिसतंय का तुम्हाला? नाही, याच्यामध्ये येत नाहीये. It is not coming. Zoom नाही येत आहे.
झूम मध्ये कॅमेरा हलत नाही का?
Zoom मध्ये कॅमेरा हलत नाही. You just zoom into a particular object, right?
Okay.
You just zoom into a particular object. So त्याच्यामध्ये दिसत नाही येते. What you call as a zoom. So when you zooming, when you go out somewhere on trip, you tend to zoom things, right? आपण आपल्या मोबाईल मध्ये असं पिंच करून ते झूम करतो, right? The difference between a zooming and a tracking shot. Is everybody getting me right? सगळ्यांना कळतंय ना मी काय म्हणतोय ते? Right?
Yes, yes.
Zooming आणि tracking मध्ये काय फरक असतो? Zooming मध्ये you just do the zoom, you just pinch, or you use the lens of your camera to zoom in. Your camera is not moving, right? The camera is static, right? In a tracking shot, you are actually moving the camera towards an object. याच्यामध्ये फरक काय असतो? When you zoom into something, तुमचे फक्त ऑब्जेक्ट पुढे पुढे मोठा होतो. It becomes bigger, so you think it is nearer. Whereas in tracking shot, you are actually going towards the object. You can see the things. आता समजा एक corridor आहे, right? Suppose I'm in a library, right? I'm in library at the other end of that corridor where it's lined with books. When you zoom in, only I will start becoming bigger and the books will just go away. Whereas when I track into me, when I go with the camera towards me, then the books, you can see the books moving also, right? You can see the books moving on the sides and you're actually going like walking. That's called tracking. So there are different shots. These are different movements. One is panning. This, when you just have the camera static and just move it like this, that's called panning. So when you have it like this and you move it, it's called panning, right? Then you've got something called tilt up and tilt down. You tilt up and tilt down, right? So when you want to take a low angle shot, you can keep the camera down and tilt up, right? When you want to take a high angle shot, take the camera up and tilt down, right? So that's a tilt up and tilt down. This is called panning, right? This is called trucking or dolly shot or tracking. Then this actually is called trucking. Ye baaju mein. So suppose somebody is moving in the screen in front of me. So I track that person while I move the camera along with that person, right? This is called tracking. Okay.
त्याला ट्रॉली शॉट पण म्हणतात ना?
त्याला आता हल्ली काय झालं माहितीये, हे लोक हल्ली फिल्म मेकर्स ट्रकिंग अँड ट्रॉलिंग आणि सगळ्याला मिक्स करायला लागले. सो आयडियली ट्रॉली शॉट वॉज सपोज टू बी फ्रंट अँड बॅक ट्रॅकिंग, राईट? आता त्याला ट्रॉलिंग म्हणतात आणि ह्याला ट्रॅकिंग म्हणतात असं. हा, सो इट चेंजेस. सो द पॉइंट इज दॅट मुवमेंट. सो when I want to show if a person is moving from this end of the camera to that end, I can take two, right? I can pan that person, right?
Okay.
Or I can move with that person. That is called trolling, right? Trolling. Or it is also called trucking. TRUCKING. It's called trucking. मैं दोन्ही पद्धतीने मी करू शकतो. मी या पर्सन जाताना मी इथून माझं पॅन करू शकतो किंवा I can place this thing on a track, right? And I can move it along with that person. It's called trucking shot, right? त्याच्यानंतर I can also tilt up and tilt down, or suppose आता I am looking, again, let us say I'm in the library, right? I'm in the library and I am looking at books from one row to another row to third row to fourth row. आता त्याच्यासाठी मी काय करू शकतो? I can either take the camera, tilt up, show the row and tilt down, right? असं दाखवू शकतो किंवा I can actually move the camera like this vertically. म्हणजे माझं जर का हे पुस्तक आहे, if this is a rack, or I want to show this cello ची बाटली आहे, I want to show this, I can also move the camera like this, right? I can move it like this, or I can keep the camera and show the top of the bottle and the bottom of the bottle, or I can move it like this, right? This is called a pedestal shot. This is called a pedestal shot. असे वेगवेगळे shots असतात. These are definitions, and they all are supposedly mean something to everybody. When you are having a, like I said, tilt up and tilt down will give you a high angle and a low angle. There's a meaning attached to that. When you're tracking something or you're panning something, it also means म्हणजे filmmaker ती story कशी सांगतोय. So for example, I am standing in place and I'm watching my son run from one end of the ground to the other end of the ground. I'm just standing there, right? I'm a static parent who is just watching the son move from here to there. Or I may be a more dynamic parent. I run along with my kid with the camera in my hand. But I'll be tracking that, tracking my son. So what are you going to show in the scene? What are you going to show in the film? That does not decide whether you're going to pan or you're going to track, right? What are you going to show in the scene? You're going to show a sudden expression of the person, right? Then maybe you can zoom into that person's view. म्हणजे आता मी बसलोय लांब, there's a characteristic a little ahead on me, and something happens and the person is afraid. I can just zoom into that expression, or I want to show what that person is doing. I can drag into that person and take tilt down to show what that person is writing. So again, there are no set rules. Okay, there are no rules in filmmaking really. There are more of norms. You can, whatever gives the feeling to the audience, whatever the way you are able to convey to the audience what you want to convey, that is the right way. All right. There are certain rules. For example, there's something called 180-degree rule, which I'm going to talk about later. You can't break that 180-degree rule. Yet today we can see a lot of filmmakers breaking the 180-degree rule. I'll show that to you later, right? So here, I'm not going to show that audio visual that I have for you.
Place, and it goes left or right as if you're observing a tennis match. The importance of this is the audience should feel like they are a spectator watching something objectively from a distance. If you want to move with the subject, you can either use a tracking shot, a crane, or a dolly. A tracking shot moves sideways, either left or right. A dolly moves front or back. And a crane goes up or down. There are all variations of the same kind of motion. They can be linear or they can be slightly curved. But the basic idea is you want to follow the action or follow the subject, and you want the audience to be more involved with the space and location. A variation of the dolly shot where you want to move in or move out, but you don't want to enter or leave the space, you use a zoom lens. Here you just want to get closer without making an emotional statement. The next type of motion is random motion, where the camera just shakes around a certain point in a random manner. This is typically used to provide motion or energy to a shot to make it come alive. Some people find it distracting, some people find it energetic. The key thing to understand is all these rules can be broken. You can use motion in any way you want, as long as the final objective is met, because ultimately a film is a combination of many edited shots. These are just basic guidelines for the beginner, so they won't feel lost. The last kind of motion is slightly specialized. It's a 360-degree shot where you want to showcase the subject where the camera moves around the subject. The cool thing about motion is you have 3 dimensions to move the camera in, so you can compound motion. For example, you can add a dolly and a zoom to create a dolly zoom, which is a very popular shot. You can combine a crane with a 360-degree shot. And finally, you can combine camera angles, shot sizes, and motion in many ways to create a single-take shot. Single-take shots are the most complicated shots possible. They're a combination of many kinds of shots in one choreographed movement. So the actors have to move, the camera has to move. It's sort of like a dance, and it takes a lot of time and practice to pull off perfectly. So that's it for the basic camera shot sizes and angles. Here's a simple chart that I've created that will help you prepare your shots. You can find a full high-quality version of this on Patreon.
Right. Have you understood now? Looking from purely from a filmmaker's perspective, you will understand why I call this one of the masterpieces of filmmaking. Right? It has got a trolley shot, it has got crane shots, it's got high angle, low angle, panning, tracking, crawling, everything. Right? But everything, I can't visualize any single shot that has not been used 360 degrees. Everything has been used in this particular song, which is why I call this a master choreography and beautiful song, right? So looking at, I think you all should watch this song again after maybe tomorrow or tonight. Just watch it purely from a filmmaker's perspective. कि कितना उसमें कष्ट लिया होगा. Just imagine how much rehearsal they must have taken and how many. So there is when the camera moves, when it tracks or it moves from, there's something going on that's in sync with what is happening here. Right? These persons go out of the frame and the other persons come in the frame and they still, so when there's an action going on, there's somebody comes from behind and the camera tracks them or pans with them, and yet nothing breaks. Nothing breaks. What is a shot? A shot is the time from where you start the recording button and again press the recording button to stop the recording. That is a shot. Right? Definition shot is the time or the footage which comes in your camera from the time you press the recording button once and the press it second time to stop it. That is one shot. Now, how long can you take a shot? And taking a long shot is easy. You can just press, keep the camera static, and make a person walk from one end of the screen to the other end of the screen. And provided that you are getting a long shot of extreme long shot, there is a field and a person is walking from one end of the field to the other end of the field, that still becomes a continuous shot. And you can take it as a 4-minute shot also, or 3-minute shot also, or maybe longer than that, right? But having a shot with so many characters playing around, dancing around, and that too a Hindi film song, that's fantastic, right? And that is why Hindi film songs have a special place in the audience's heart, right? It's the heart of Hindi film industry. And I always today I was teaching filmmaking to my regular students. And I always pose the challenge. Every year, I've been posing this challenge for the last 17 years. I started teaching in the university in 2003. And from 2003 to 2020, I've been posing this challenge. And not a single batch has actually come out with this thing. I challenge because a lot of people laugh at Hindi film song and dance. मैं challenge throw करता हूँ कि एक गाना picturize करके दिखाओ. One song. Exactly as it is shot in the film. So you take a gungunar rahe hai, bahut achhi rahi hai, kali kali prancing around the trees, the hero and heroine prancing around the trees, and try and shoot the damn thing and show me exactly. You have to shoot it exactly as they do. And not one single batch has taken up the challenge yet. Abhi is time bol rahe hain ki we are going to do it, sir, after the COVID is over. I said, fine. This is what everybody tells me every year, and nobody has shot that sequence. I say only ek antara shoot karo, bas. Pura gana bhi shoot mat karo. But try and shoot and you'll understand how difficult it is to shoot a song. Right? And I want those dances and moments. I want those cinematic moments. I don't want somebody sitting like this and singing a song. That doesn't make the real challenge. The challenge is that. All right. So we have covered a lot of ground today. Now I'm going to go off the screen and I'm going to allow this this session to get over with a beautiful, beautiful ad. I'm sure you must have all seen this. But I'm not going to say goodbye to you afterwards. I'm going to say goodbye to you right now. So I hope you enjoyed the session. Are there any questions? Any question, any doubt, anybody wants to ask me?
आता जे उद्याची एक्सरसाइज जी दिलेली आहे तर आता मल्टिपल शॉट्स आम्ही व्हिडिओ बनवणार त्याचे त्याला मर्ज करायचं आहे की सेपरेट पाठवायचं?
नाही सेपरेट पाठवायचं. आता मला एक त्याच्यामध्ये ऍडिशन आहे. सॉरी, आय हॅव समथिंग टू टेल यू. आता तुम्हाला ते नुसते शॉट घ्यायचे नाहीत, तुम्हाला त्याला मुवमेंट्स पण द्यायचे. सो यू नीड टू ऑल्सो पॅन, you need to track. You can walk with the camera. Forget about the smoothness of your movements. Okay, you have to use a tracking in, tracking out. Right? Please write this down. You have to use a tracking in, tracking out. Right? You have to use a tilt up and tilt down. Tracking in, tracking out, tilt up and tilt down. You have to use a tracking or the person of dolly. Nowadays they call it dolly shot. So you have to use a dolly shot, right? Then you have to use a tracking shot. So you have to track somebody or something horizontally. Joshi, तुमचा mic बंद करा ना please. You have to track something horizontally also. You have to also pan something, right? You have to pan. Pan doesn't need to have a person there, right? Pan can be just a scene. So when you take that extreme long shot, you can use the pan to show me the entire geography, right? So that you can use a pan shot there, right? You can also need a pedestal shot. So tilt down, tilt up, and a pedestal. So you can show even a bottle like I showed you now. You can take this and you can then truck like this, right? That's a pedestal shot like this. So all these movements now you have to do, and also do try the 360 degree. You make someone sit or something in the middle, and you go around it with the camera. Try to do the 360. Why you're doing this is because you'll understand how it feels when you see it on your screen yourself. We always see what people have done. I wanted to see what you can do. Right? You can take this continuously. You can break them up into different shots and send it to me. You don't need to combine, edit, or do anything. Just send them to me. Right? So you need to do.
अजून एक रिक्वेस्ट होती. आजची जी लिंक आहे ना ती जरा उद्या लवकर पाठवा.
आता रात्रीच पाठवणार आहे आज मी.
कारण आज बराच त्याच्यात डेटा आहे.
आज बराच डेटा आहे. आज काय आणि काल काय बरं बाय द वे त्यातली गाणं आहे ना. हो व्हेरी फास्ट आहे. गाणी मला काढायला लागतील कारण नाहीतर अपलोड करता येणार नाही मला तो व्हिडिओ. मी गाणी काढून टाकणार आहे, बाकीचे व्हिडिओ ठेवणार आहे. राईट? आय विल नॉट बी एबल टू कीप द सॉंग्स, नाहीतर इट बी बॅड. माय चॅनल विल गेट क्लोज. If I keep on sending those videos, they keep on banning it, they will be shut down my channel. So I don't want that to happen. तर मी व्हिडिओ आजच रात्री अपलोड करणार आहे आणि आज रात्री तुम्हाला मी लिंक पाठवून देणार आहे. आज झालं असं, आय फॉरगॉट दॅट आय हॅड लेक्चर्स सिन्स मॉर्निंग. तो मी सकाळी 6 वाजल्यापासून लेक्चर मध्ये बसलोय. तो आय गॉट फ्री at 6 o'clock in the evening. I had non-stop lectures, 10 to 12, then 1 to 3, and then again 4 to 6. So I had 3 lectures non-stop today. So I got free at 6 o'clock. त्याच्यानंतर मी अपलोड केलं. So I forgot that I have lectures. There was series of lectures. So that's it from me today. I wish you goodbye. I hope you have enjoyed today's session also like yesterday.
Yes.
Thank you everybody for joining me. Don't go off the screen. I'm going to go off the screen, but I'm not going to say goodbye afterwards. I'm just going to come back after some time and shut down the screen. I'm going to show you a beautiful ad by Google. Right? I'm sure you've seen this ad, but I want to now. Instead of getting sentimental, you can get sentimental if you want to because it's a beautiful, it's a very emotional ad. But apart from that, I want you to look at it from the filmmaker's perspective. Why have they taken an extreme long shot in the beginning? Then why have they again taken an extreme long shot somewhere in the middle? Why are there close-ups? Why are there mid-shots? What is the significance of this mid-shot? I want you to think about it. And afterwards, I want you to search for both these. I want you to search for Google ad, Jhajariya ad. You can search for Jhajariya ad and you can search for Ganana Girana Gira Badara. ये दोनों आप कल प्लीज देखेंगे वापस. राइट? दोनों ये फिल्म्स आप प्लीज देखेंगे. उद्या परत सगळं बघा ते एकदा आणि त्याच्यातनं try to understand the filmmaking perspective. Right? So thank you very much. Good night everybody.
Thank you.
I'm going off the screen now. I'm just going to share that beautiful ad.
ये मैं, ये यूसुफ, लंगोटे यार सी मेरा। लाहौर में हमारे घर के सामने एक बड़ा बाग था। उस बाग का गेट बाबा आदम के जमाने। रोज शाम को हमने वहाँ पतंगे उड़ानी और उसके बाद जाके यूसुफ के दुकान से झझरिया चुरा के खानी।
झझरिया?
और मेरा साहब नमस्ते। नमस्ते। मेरी पोती मुंबई वाली। और बेटे क्या हाल चाल है?
गली फिर से कूदे फांदे, छोटी छोटी मीठी चोरी गांठ लेके बांधे।
हेलो, अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
फाजिल स्वीट्स?
हाँ जी। दादाजान, दिल्ली से किसी की कॉल है।
हेलो,
यूसुफ अंकल?
कौन?
जी मैं सुमन बोल रही हूँ दिल्ली से, आपके बचपन के दोस्त बलदेव जी की पोती। याद है बचपन में आप दोनों झझरिया चुरा के खाते थे?
बचपन की तंग गली फिर से कूदे फांदे, छोटी छोटी मीठी चोरी गांठ लेके बांधे। एक पतंग सा उड़ता था परिंदों की तरह, परिंदों की तरह, परिंदों की तरह। एक दौर था मन मन मोर था, एक दौर था मन मन मोर था।
पार्टीशन के वक्त हम रातों रात हिंदुस्तान आ गए।
दादू?
यूसुफ दी बड़ी याद आती।
कागजों की कश्तियों में डूबा रहता था, झांकती खिड़कियों में उलझा रहता था। वो भी क्या दौर था, मन पे न जोर था। एक दौर था मन मन मोर था, एक दौर था मन मन मोर था।
भैया थोड़ा चलो।
मन मोर।
हाँ जी, कौन? हैप्पी बर्थडे यारा। यूसुफ, वो यूसुफ, मेरे बल्लू, यूसुफ यार।